It was already the 7th day since the zombie outbreak began. Night had fallen over Mapo district in Seoul, wrapping the whole city in darkness. In one dimly lit house, a soldier stood in confusion under a warm yellow light. "What the hell is this?" he muttered, totally baffled. Turned out, Min and Dami had made their way here. Instantly, the group of soldiers raised their guns toward the two of them. "Who the hell are you?" one barked, completely thrown off. "This whole place is crawling with zombies. What are you exactly? And how the hell are you still alive, let alone able to get all the way here?" A bald-headed soldier snarled, veins bulging across his forehead as he glared with bloodshot eyes. "What? You need a bullet in the skull before you'll open your damn mouth?" Suddenly, he froze mid-sentence. "Hey, what's wrong with your face?" Something flickered in his mind, a suspicion. Min was wearing sunglasses, most likely to hide his blood-red eyes. But the bald soldier seemed to be thinking of something else entirely. "Wait, are you some kind of celebrity or something? Why the hell are you wearing shades?" he asked, more annoyed now, but Min said nothing, staying silent. The soldier's irritation grew. At that moment, someone stepped into view, a woman from Team Tahoe. Her code name was Black Widow, but she was better known as former Captain Shahayari. She stood tall and commanding. And with an icy tone, she said flatly, "Get lost." Hayari began walking toward Min, her boots echoing on the floor. "There's no room left here," she said bluntly. "Find somewhere else." She leaned in closer, her expression hard and hostile. "Did you not hear me? I said, get lost." Then she suddenly paused, her face shifting to a mix of confusion and curiosity as she looked at him. At that moment, Min made his move, deliberately dramatic, like a scene from a Hollywood movie. He reached out his hand toward Dami. "My daughter's been wandering the streets for a week now," he said. His voice heavy with emotion. "Her asthma's acting up again. Can't you see how much she's suffering? Please, I'm begging you. Help me save my daughter." He shut his eyes tight, pouring every bit of grief and desperation into his words. "If you won't help both of us, then at least take her. Just her, please. I'm begging you." Hearing that, Dami looked up at him. In stunned disbelief, Hayuri's face softened. She stared at him, lips pressed tight, then gritted her teeth until they shook. Even the bald soldier muttered under his breath. "This guy's crazy." Then he stepped forward too. He thought maybe an emotional trick could sway their captain. "Oh, now you're playing the pity card, huh?" he scoffed. "You think that'll work on her?" But surprisingly, it did. Hayuri's eyes filled with tears. They ran down her cheeks, and snot started to drip from her nose. She turned away fast and gave the order. "Let them in." Her voice stayed cold, her face blank. "Don't get the wrong idea. I just need more people to guard this supermarket." Someone whispered, "Wipe your nose first." Gently. Minsik watched her walk off, back turned. The bald soldier followed close, still talking non-stop. He went quiet for a second, then smiled faintly. "You haven't changed a bit, have you?" he said. Captain Chahayari, leader of the surviving soldiers in Mapo district. A former officer who protected the Amar base, tough as a snake. But oddly, when it came to a parent's sacrifice, her strong will always cracked a little. Just then, Dami burst out in anger. "Dad!" She looked fed up and started scolding him. "What was that back there? That's not what we planned." He tried to explain quick. "No, Dami, it's not like that." Before he could finish, a nearby soldier yelled, "You too. Come with me." Dami slipped right back into her asthma act. But the soldier, worn out, snapped, "Stop it." Dami clutched her head and groaned loud, making the man look annoyed. "Quit fooling around," he grumbled. Minsik pulled Dami into his arms fast. He looked down at her, worry growing in his mind. Dami's condition is getting worse than usual. She needs rest soon. If not, it could turn bad. This mess came from two things, the event from a week ago, and his own weird, changing body. Minsik had been bitten by zombies but lived. Not just lived, he was strong enough to beat them. A scary thought hit him. My body's so different now, it feels like a stranger's. I'm not the same guy anymore. What if I've already turned into one of them? Scene change, a Mapo Jang supermarket branch. The best spot for survival in the early outbreak days. Fully stocked with key supplies. The last place with a working defense team. Minsik scanned the area. He glanced at one corner. She'll be safe here, he thought, feeling better as he watched Amy. But then something strange caught his eye. Why is the building next door totally collapsed? That's not how it was before. The odd question made the soldier next to him raise an eyebrow. Weird way to say it. You from the future or what? Still. The man answered. 3 days ago, a big zombie horde hit the area. Captain Hayuri fought hard, firing her gun non-stop at the swarm. She led them away alone to the next building. She swung over to a spot where 2 of our guys were posted. Below, the zombies packed in tight, like a crazy beehive. Then she set off the bombs we'd planted ahead of time. It flattened the whole building, and every one of those monsters. He paused, then spat on the ground with a rough cough. They're probably just dried up squid jerky now. Maybe a few freaks lived through the blast, but even if they did, they'd just rot away trapped in there. As he spoke, the soldier suddenly noticed Minsuk's tense look, his eyes locked forward, clearly on edge. That seemed to amuse him. What's with that face, he teased. Don't tell me you actually think a zombie might crawl out of that mess. He was in the middle of mocking him, completely unaware of what was creeping up behind him. A real zombie. And not just any zombie, a giant one. As he slowly turned his head, his words caught in his throat, and he froze. Towering behind him was a massive zombie, easily 10 times his size. And just like that, he was paralyzed in place. Before anyone could even panic, the creature had already raised its rotting arm into the air. It clenched its fist tightly, then slammed it down with terrifying speed, smashing into the ground with a thunderous crash. Dirt and rubble flew everywhere. Hearing the chaos, Haori came running toward the scene. The zombie's massive hand swung in her direction, but taking her down wouldn't be that easy. Haori dodged swiftly to the side with practiced reflexes. The soldiers guarding the entrance instantly panicked. Zombie. What the hell is that thing? Where did it come from? By now, the creature had closed in on Minsuk and Dami. Haori immediately raised her voice and shouted, "Open fire. All units, now." Without hesitation, the team unloaded their weapons, bullets tearing through the air. But even after taking a barrage of gunfire, the bloated zombie stood its ground. It tilted its head back and let out a bone-rattling scream. Moments later, the grotesque giant had reached a group of soldiers. With one single sweep of its arm, it sent multiple troops flying, killing them on the spot. One lone soldier remained, frozen in terror. He collapsed to the ground, trembling as the monstrous corpse loomed over him, clearly not ready to let him go. The zombie crouched, preparing to leap, when suddenly a bag flew through the air. Haori appeared just in time. She lunged forward and yanked the young man out of harm's way. She slammed him to the ground and shouted in his face, "Get a grip." "You trying to die?" "Yes, ma'am," he stammered, still shaking. But truthfully, Haori was terrified too. It wasn't like she wasn't scared. Focus, Haori, she told herself. This situation was nothing like what had happened 3 days ago. Whatever this thing was, it wasn't a normal zombie. Her instincts screamed at her. She turned her head, eyes scanning the surroundings. And then she yelled, "Everyone, get inside the supermarket now." And just like that, the 4 of them bolted toward the market at full speed. But suddenly, Minsuk called out. "Wait," Haori cut him off immediately. "Shut up and run." Glancing to his side, Minsuk saw his daughter in pain, struggling to breathe. In that instant, he stopped running. His brows furrowed deeply as he made a silent decision. Without another word, he spun around and sprinted toward the zombie. Gritting his teeth, he poured all his rage into a clenched fist. He slammed it against the perimeter fence surrounding the supermarket, trying to lure the monster toward him. Haori's forehead was soaked in sweat as she shouted, "No matter what it is, it won't break through in one hit. While it's distracted, look for a weak spot." But then her footsteps faltered. Wait a second. She stood frozen in front of a group of survivors. Why were there still people on the first floor, from elderly folks to children? Everyone looked terrified, too scared to even move. The evacuation should have been completed by now, she thought, confused. Skidding to a stop, Haori cursed. Damn it. Then she turned around, face firm with resolve. I'll draw its attention. You 3 get inside now. But as she looked up, she noticed something. Dami was standing alone. Haori shouted, "Why are you by yourself? Where's your father?" Her eyes widened. "Don't tell me your dad left you and ran off." She was just about to scold her further until Dami silently pointed to the side. Following her gaze, Haori froze, stunned into silence, and said nothing more. Haori followed the direction Dami was pointing. Her eyes landed on Minsuk, who had clasped both hands together. Then, with a swift and brutal motion, he slammed them straight down onto the zombie's head. Blood erupted in all directions like a gruesome fountain. The monstrous corpse was crushed in an instant, taken down with a single blow from Minsuk's bare hands. His arms were now soaked in blood. But he wasn't done. He raised his fist again, ready for more. Everyone, soldiers, survivors, even Haori, stood frozen in place. Eyes wide with disbelief. A nearby father instinctively covered his daughter's eyes with his hand, shielding her from the gruesome sight. The zombie let out a few final wretched screams before collapsing completely. Its limbs twitched briefly, then fell still. Minsuk stood tall over its body, panting heavily. The creature's corpse lay splayed beneath his feet. After pummeling the monster into a pulp, he was clearly exhausted. Haori quickly approached him, weapon drawn, still gripping her gun tightly. With everyone watching in stunned silence, Minsuk finally spoke. "Sorry," he turned his gaze toward Dami. "I broke the promise I made to you," he said quietly. Then he let out a dry, bitter chuckle, eyes shifting to the side. "I was scared. I didn't want to see you get hurt, and that fear made me hesitate." Suddenly, Haori lifted her gun and aimed it directly at him, her brows furrowed. Alarm filled her eyes, and her voice was sharp. Who the hell are you? But Mook didn't panic. He slowly raised his hand and adjusted his sunglasses with calm ease. Ryu Minuk, he said, introducing himself. Across from them, Domi's face turned worried. Don't. But Minuk kept talking. Father of Dami, that only made things worse for Harry. Her mind spun with confusion and fear. No, please, Dad. Don't say more. You'll be in danger if you do. Just then, Minuk looked right at her. His eyes were sharp and steady. Zombie, he said. I'm a zombie expert. The words hit like thunder. Everything went quiet. Damien and Hayuri both gasped in shock. Expert, but Minuk went on without pause. After the outbreak, I studied them every day, their moves, their bodies, their weak spots. Anything to stay alive. He smiled with easy confidence, like it was no big deal. I'm just happy I could help. Please take care of me from now on. For a moment, Harry smiled back. But it didn't reach her eyes. Oh, I see, she said, her tone almost sweet. Then, in a flash, she pulled out a knife and pressed the blade to his throat. Hey, what are you doing? Damien yelled. He rushed forward in a panic. But Harry didn't flinch. Her voice was cold as ice. She held the knife steady and glanced at the zombie's dead body. Then back at Minuk. The clues clicked in her head, a monster that bullets couldn't touch. But you smashed it with your bare hands. She narrowed her eyes. And when did your sunglasses fall off, exactly? Her voice turned to a low growl. Those red eyes, they're just like the zombies. She leaned in close, staring into his gaze. Tell me the truth. Are you even human?